LaQueaja, and I'm going to be reading Coos Bay by Michael McGriff. The world's largest lumber port. The yellow hulk of cats whining bayfront shipyards. Caroling barragemen looking for pussy, betting on high school football. Abandoned army barracks. Japanese glass floats. Cranberry bogs. Mooring lines. Salmon row. Swing shifts. Green chains. Millwrights passing each other like black paper cranes. From one impertinence to the next. Phosphorescent bay water, 2 tons of oyster shells, seagulls, beach glass tumbled smooth in the surf. Way stations, off-bearing, front-loading cargo nets, longshoremen, scabs. The Indian casino marquee promising continental breakfast, star-crowned animals stitched to the blue heavens. Behind the fog, log blooms, choker settlers, Jippo outfits, acetylene sparks, falling from Coast Guard cutter citrus. Dreading nuts, gravel quarries, clear cuts, Scotch broom taking over the dunes. Smokestacks pocket with peep shows. One flame in suit, the year-round nativity scene, a one-armed Santa in J.C. Penney's alley window. My grandmother dying just over the ridge. Mother of pearl, sea lion calls in the dark. Low tides at Charleston's harbor. The sound of caulk boots in gravel parking lots. Salmon sheet hosed over the streets. The arch of Big Red's empty trailer. Sand in moving parts. Floodlights, tie-downs, ridge barracks. Great blues horns whispering through the hollow reeds. Howard Castle speaking of sports. The descendants of Paul Harvey, wishes of a good day. Pasty climb going to pieces, my father's arm almost surround me as we drive. The cat piss smell and charm meth lab. Between the VFW Hall and Pioneer Newspaper Museum, the rusted scrapyard and tank farm. At the spotlight before the drawbridge, we laugh at the women from the bank falling over their heels. Over the truck-grooved crosswalk, the bridge spans forgotten coil bunkers, buried fingerprints of Chinese laborers, rope riders and mule bones. Back home we'll huddle around the oil drum burn barrel. A few weeks of newspaper and wood scraps trapped angles under the wire mesh. My father a machinist neighbor dying of cancer with the heads over. The great heave of Southern Pacific, sturgeon like river cogs. Barnacle wreckage, cattle guards, the last of the daylight, a broken trellis fallen into the bay. When I first read this poem, I thought Michael was just talking about things that he saw at the bay, and I was like, what in the world? Like, I don't care. Like, I've only been fishing once. Like, it's really not that interesting to me. And then I began to read the poem more. And actually read it over again, and I began to realize that the poem is actually very personal. He gets more specific about his encounters that actually might have happened at the bay, or that the bay reminds him of. And I think that he also actually has like a lot of family issues, because he talks about his grandmother being on her deathbed and how his life is not empty. And judging the statement that he said his father's arm was almost around him in the car, I think that means that him and his father doesn't really have a close relationship, and he's beginning to work on that. Yet he still goes to the bay, and I feel like he still goes to the bay to deal with a lot of his issues, and it's as if the bay is like a source of his serenity and his problems at the same time. And then I realized that everyone has problems and issues, and some of them are actually caused by the very same thing that's said to make them happy.